Privyat Stalkers, this is a unscripted video. I didn't have any time to write a script. I came home last night at 3 AM. I got woken up at 7 AM by construction workers. I'm tired as hell, but I wanted to get this content out, the Stalker 2 content, before someone else got their hands on it, like IGN, which they already kind of did, but they said that we're gonna do it today and not yesterday. Anyways, I'll showcase some gameplay, also me in the background. It's me on a demo, on a live video of IGN. They show me actually twice. I am visible twice during the
because what we're going to do as well is we're going to hop straight
during this,
from what they are telling us,
which is pretty cool.
Xbox build.
Yeah,
that's me again. They got me twice playing. And I was there for half an hour, so yeah. I'm gonna warn you guys just now about the potential spoilers here. The spoilers are obviously. This is what we played was the opening of the game. It was the actual opening of the video game Stalker 2. The opening, including the intro, including the tutorial. So, honestly, at this point, if you don't want to get spoiled, I would tune out. Heavy spoilers ahead. They also show some gameplay. And I will make 3 parts of the video. This intro, the actual gameplay review of what I played, and I will explain how I did it and what I did for those 30 minutes. And at the end, I'll give my finishing thoughts. So, yeah, let's go. Which brings us, fittingly enough, I think this is very poetic, to one of the first trailers we saw of Stalker 2. This is the intro of the demo I played. So I will basically just talk over it. The intro starts you off with the cinematic, and you know, you're in the truck. I don't like going into absolute detail of the story. For me, story is something you should find out yourself. If you're playing a game, you should find out the story yourself. You need to go into the game and read the lore, read the dialogue, see the characters. Me explaining to you what the story would be or what it is, I don't think it achieves anything. I don't think you guys are here for that. So I will just skim over it. But basically, you enter the zone from outside of the zone. You start your playthrough outside of the zone. You enter the zone through a number of cutscenes and a little bit of cinematics. End up past this anomaly or this phenomenon, which again brings us to how it all started. You start in a truck, you get out of the truck, you take a scanner device out of the truck, the one you saw in the video actually, the original trailer. You take the device out of the truck, it's pretty standard. You take it out of the truck, they tell you to, they give you tutorials how to move, how to press W, jump, turn on your torch, because obviously it's dark. The entire demo took place at night, just like the footage. It was all at night. So the first bit is just walking forward, and then you walk past this anomaly, and the military is on their comms, they're radioing people around, like, what the hell is going on? The zone is blowing up, the perimeter got disturbed, there's a hole in the fence, basically there's a giant hole in the wall. And that's your main character's cue to just go in, to enter the zone and be like, oh yeah, zone time. So, you walk in there, and yeah, the initial bits are just a bit of walking and a little bit not too exciting. Feels fluid enough. The torch, the nighttime torch doesn't have that much range, just like the originals, which I hope you can increase the range through an upgrade, maybe. A headlamp torch upgrade would be sick. Just saying. So you end up walking past this anomaly. They don't really let you enter the anomaly, it's just there, but it clearly destroyed the wall. Which leads us to a little bit further in. Once you get through the broken down perimeter fence, you actually end up going through a little bit of underground network. You know, they teach you about crouching, they teach you about jumping. It's basically a tutorial. They show some obstacles. They even show you planks you can knife. You can knife planks just like the original game, which is underutilized in the original. You don't really go around knifing planks too much in the original. Seems to be like enforced that you know that you can break wood with your knife. And again, the knife, there was, just to reiterate on this knife thing, there was a quick knife button, or quick, yeah, you have your Makarov, you start with a Makarov. You have your Makarov, you press V, you do a quick melee butt with your gun, you can smack stuff with your gun, or you can pull out your knife and just, you know, slash a lot more rapidly, and it seems to destroy the wood in one hit either way, so that's good. And again, which brings you through the tunnel. Once you destroy the wood, it brings you out here, actually. So this is in the intro of the game. You actually end up here, which is surprising. I thought this would be somewhere else, but that was right there. In the demo, which I played. And then you end up moving forward. I think the scenery is a bit different. I think in the actual demo, there was like a shipping crate here. And this was a bit darker. It might not even have been the exact same tunnel, but you do end up outside of a tunnel. Yeah, now think about it. I don't think this is the exact same tunnel, but you do end up outside of a tunnel at the end. You do end up jumping down, and there ends up being a flash there. So what you do, you end up fighting the flash. The flash, killing a flash with a macro was actually surprisingly difficult. It took me about 2 magazines. Maybe the flash was beefed up. Maybe the macro is just that weak, or perhaps the front of the flash, the face is armored. Flashes have some kind of armored skin, like hardened skin, as they displayed in the previous games. We'll see, maybe their weak spot is there behind. But it took a long time to go down. It felt fluid. The flash actually is a little more scary. It has a jumping attack. It will jump at you, jump forward towards you with its claws, and try to kill you that way. More intimidating for sure. Even a basic enemy like a flash could be more intimidating in S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2, as you can see. Which I don't mind. I think every mutant, except for let's say a Tuscano or Rat, should be genuinely intimidating. And then sadly there is no footage of the next little bit of area, but there isn't that much going on. I think you end up traveling a bit through some debris, some houses. I really like how much, even in tutorial, which is just an intro to the game, there was a lot of side paths and a lot to explore. I could go into a random house and find like a little crate or like an open window with, you jump through the window, there's like a little crate you can smack open. Some medkits lying around. The environmental loot seems to be a lot more condensed and well placed. In original games, I feel like the loot in the environment was sort of haphazardly placed all over the place, and some ammo boxes were just stacked on top of each other on the table. A little bit boring. It feels like in S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2, it feels like generally the items are a bit more hidden, or they feel more natural the way they're placed. They feel like they're part of the environment. They really look like they fit in with all the debris on the table. This is like, that's 20 items on the table, let's say 20 crappy items, and in between those 20 crappy items sits a vodka. Like, it looks good. And you end up climbing through a house. You climb through a wrecked house. You go down, and they contact you about ecologists. Like, during this whole demo, during this whole tutorial, you're being contacted by the ecologist. During the intro, you end up being contacted by the whole time through by the ecologist, the one you see in this scene. The one that goes on about is the measurement device, which is a new prototype that is actually pretty dangerous, apparently. But he keeps contacting you, he tells you to go seek out the ecologist, to further your research, to get some data. Like, he wants the data from the zone, that's why he's sending you in. Yeah, all that, he's just telling you to keep going forward, so the main character, of course, keeps going forward. You end up going to an ecologist bunker, so after the scenery... So here we are, I got another good shot of the bunker. After that scenery, after you get through that wrecked house, you climb down, you platform a bit. You know, it's a bit of tutorials. It's just a tutorial to a game. Like, we can also talk about how modern games just have tutorials. It is an accessibility thing. I do think you should teach your players to the game before they let you go in. It's 2024. At this point, I think the more people that play your game, the better. I do like, though, how the original games don't really have a hard tutorial. They have a soft tutorial. However, it is how it is. Also, this introduces you to the story very well. The story sequence, it is done well. There's a lot of dialogue, and you learn about the characters in the zone and the device he's using, artifacts and all that. But yes, once you get down the building, you end up in this ecologist bunker, and surprisingly, everyone inside is dead. Which something like that we haven't seen yet. That's unprecedented in the S.T.A.L.K.E.R universe. So, I don't know exactly what happened, but there are mutants outside. Some anomalous stuff happened. The researchers inside are dead. You end up finding a detector, and you end up, of course, getting a laptop with data, like their research, also relevant, so your character takes them out of there. You end up finding a rifle too. I ended up upgrading my Makarov to a AKU, somewhere around there, or previously, somewhere in the buildings too. And I got a HK. It was basically a NATO rifle, but yeah, and then you end up taking all the data out of there. You end up going outside the bunker, and outside the front of the bunker, they tell you to, your first tutorial, to take your new echo detector, hold it in your hand, and to find an artifact. Which again, we have some footage of basically the main character doing that. They actually showed this in the Gamescom demo. So I will show you right now. It's basically just this. End up going to a field. It's obviously not that hard. I did exactly this. I end up walking out of the bunker, going exactly to that spot, and picking up the slug. There you go. So you pick up the slug, and then what happens is, again, we have some footage. You pick up the slug, they tell you to go forward to place a scanner down in a field. But, lo and behold, you hear a roar. And there is the bloodsucker. Again, spoilers, but there will be a bloodsucker in the opening. And I think, I didn't really feel like fighting a Bloodsucker. I thought it would be too hard. Basically what I did, as you can see, the player character is getting slapped around. What I did was run away. I ran past it, and I ran through the fence. But as you can see, it's pretty difficult to actually fight a Bloodsucker like this. I think it also has some new effect. They do some new blurry vision effect. Also, the main character is bleeding, so you really have to bandage your wounds. Like the bleeds seem pretty intense. So having to put both a bandage and a medkit to prevent that bleed is something else. As you can see, it's just basic. It's shooting at a mutant. It is just God of Piat. It is just Gop. I feel like the Bloodsucker does have some new moves. I hope, I don't know yet, but I hope the grab attack is gone. I think being the Bloodsucker coming up to you in melee range and it grabbing you for 8 seconds low and locking you in place, while other mutants can also kill you during that time frame. I just don't like it. I don't like being grabbed like that. I don't like being held against my will and losing control of my character. I didn't get grabbed in the demo, and the player character doesn't seem to get grabbed in this gameplay here. So we'll just take that. Again, he pulls out his HK rifle here, and he killed the mutant. Awesome. Which I didn't do, because I honestly thought the demo would be longer. But, spoilers alert, I beat the demo in like 17 minutes, and then I had like 13 more minutes to do it again. And guess what? I did it again. I completed the demo twice, the tutorial, in my 30-minute window. Because why not? It was fun. Yeah, let's get ahead of this part. It actually gets more intense. So basically, after defeating the Bloodsucker, you go through the fence, and you end up here. You place down a scanner in the field, which the ecologist is requesting you through the PDA. He's requesting all this data. The device seems very experimental. It seems to summon some anomalous energies. And then it also summons a electro field, and you have to go through it. Like, I actually died twice here. I died twice to the Electros, which is surprising. They really come out of nowhere, and I didn't even know I didn't notice they spawn in. But they do. So I died twice to the Electros. They two-shot you. It was pretty intense. But yeah, having died twice, I more carefully went around the Electros, and then I got through this field. You also, behind you, you hear some bandits yell or something. I don't know who's yelling behind you, but at this point, you hear people yelling behind you to get you to move forward. But also from the front. From the front here, there are several military stalkers. And the first time through, I just ran past them, sprinted past, to get to the next bit. But I'll already go over my second time through. I actually ended up fighting these military stalkers. I ended up fighting them. It felt good. They were not messing around. The moment I went behind this rock and just hid behind this rock to turtle up and you know, peek them with the leaning. I was leaning left, right, around the rocks, playing it safe. I was hitting some headshots. It was good. I started getting grenades chucked my way. They were throwing grenades exactly over the rock, and it was pretty accurate. I hope the grenades are not that accurate. Although the grenades seem to have a very slow fuse, they tend to give you a lot of time to react. That's good. I do like reactive gameplay, and it felt audible. You could hear them throw grenades. It's responsive. I like reactive gameplay. I don't want to be naded out of nowhere and have, you know, a silent nade come my way. But again, a little bit more gameplay shown here. Main character decides to push around a bit. In this demo, he's not really shooting that accurately. I tend to go for headshots. He's just going for blind spraying. Yeah, and they did not mess around. If I didn't sit behind a rock, I would have died very fast. Like, it's cover-based gameplay. You have to take cover, and you have to use your leaning Q and E, which I did. But again, this guy in the demo doesn't seem to be using that. I don't know how easy it is to use with a controller. Basically, he ends up killing them too in the demo here. Again, which brings us to it brings us to what I would consider the main point and why I came to Gamescom. Again, he's getting naded out there. He was standing behind this rock. He got naded out, but he ended up moving from the grenade, so it was fine. And you can loot the corpses. I did end up looting the corpses in the demo too. Wait, were they bandits? Were they bandits? I swear they were military in my game. I swear these guys were military in my game, but honestly, again, I okay, on second thought, I think I might have been fighting bandits. If these guys were bandits, they were pretty tough. They were pretty deadly. They were shooting accurately. I think one of them had a rifle, the other two maybe had a Makarov. But definitely all three of them had one grenade each. So that was also a pretty tense bandit fight against 3 bandits that I had. The first time around I ran away. So yeah, we have confirmed, by the way, also confirmed Cheeky Breeky is in. Cheeky Breeky is in S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2, it's confirmed. And I didn't hear them yell it here, but I'm sure they're gonna yell it at some point. It was fun. So I can loot the bandits. Okay, there are bandits. In my rush when playing the game, again, that guy had IQ. In my rush when playing the game, I guess to me this guy looked like a military stalker, but again, he looked like military, but again, I didn't pay much attention to anything. Trust me, I just sprinted, I bolted everywhere. I wanted to get out of the tutorial to experience some A-Life. But the tutorial ends, and then your demo ends, and you can restart and play again. So I couldn't actually go out and experience A-Life. I just kind of experienced the demo tutorial area, which has some scripted encounters. So yes. That said, you end up going past here. You end up going past, and you move a bit further through a field. There are some radios there. There's a radio there. There's some interesting music playing. Like some pop songs, some Ukrainian pop songs. It's awesome. You end up going around looting. It's basically looting time. It's cool. The rest of the gameplay, they don't have any gameplay footage of what I'm about to talk about. There's none of the gameplay showed. So the next bits, the finale of this tutorial, are basically just placing down a scanner several times more. You have the scanner device, you're supposed to place this down 2 more times afterwards. Okay guys, this is in post-editing. I just realized, I just thought, when I played through the demo the second time, I actually, of course I went more for a sidetrack. I didn't really need to see the ending sequence. So I remember now, what I did, I went into a barge, there was a boat there, I climbed into the barge. It's the exact same barge you find in the north of Zaton, in Call of Pripyat. It is the big barge. And you go inside, and surprisingly enough, there was a poltergeist inside. Again, I guarantee you, the new poltergeist, this enemy type is a poltergeist. This enemy type is a poltergeist. And I can tell you right now that I fought it. And first of all, there are several new things to the poltergeist. Again, it's gameplay spoilers. The poltergeist will actually pull up this shield of debris to shield itself from damage. The debris it pulls up is a shield. It will reduce or prevent damage. That is a mechanic. It can do it while moving too. I'm pretty sure while I was shooting it and it pulled up the shield, it was moving forward and backward. Also, the poltergeist now does contact damage. It will damage your contact. If you touch it, it will damage you. It seemed to throw around all the barrels and all items at me. Honestly, they're more like a boss fight now. I think they are a lot more intimidating. Them being able to block damage like a burr would is another layer of complexity and gameplay. It was pretty cool. And at the end of the barge, I think there was like some, it was a stash of loot. I got a ton of loot at the end, and a medical bag filled with meds. Again, the tutorial having like a little side area with a mini boss in it was pretty cool. I'm probably the only person that went into the barge and climbed into it and fought this boss. That's pretty cool if that's the case, because I actually platformed my way in. Yeah, I just wanted to share that, resume the video. Okay, so you end up placing down the device at the second location. There are 3 locations total. The second location is after the fight with the 3 bandits. You end up just going through the tunnel. Basically, you put it on the second device, you put it in a tunnel. And what happens is there are a bunch of burner anomalies spawn afterwards, after I finish the scanning. They look, I gotta say, the passive effect of the burner anomalies, the ambient heat they give off, and the little sparks and the heat distortion waves that play around the actual anomalies, I think those are amazing. I think the actual burner, the actual burner effect does light up the environment with some pretty lighting, but the burner effect, I don't really like it yet. I'll have to warm up to it. I didn't actually see it in the demo. I actually did not trigger any burner anomalies because I didn't have any bolts. Again, the reason I know that this is the tutorial to the game, like the reason I have confirmation in my head, is because the lengthy intro, the tutorialized being the last demo we played a year before at Gamescom, that wasn't the tutorial to the game. It was less polished. It felt just kind of thrown in. It wasn't the tutorial, it wasn't as polished. The polish here is really good. It wasn't as polished, and it was just a random scene after the whole tutorial took place. And how do I know? Simply because in that demo, you get the bolt tutorial. You get a bolt, and you can throw the bolt at anomalies. And they tutorialize the bolts. In this whole tutorial sequence, in this previous sequence, you don't have any bolts yet, and they don't talk about bolts, and nobody tutorializes bolts. So it just makes sense that what we played at last year's Gamescom is going to be after this year's Gamescom, in sequence wise. So I've already played, let's say, the first 45 minutes of S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 somehow, the last 2 years. Again, for me, that's gonna take some of the genuine reactions to the zone away, but to be fair, I didn't really listen to any of the dialogue, so I have no clue what was going on. I'm gonna definitely get immersed into the dialogue and the reason why my main character is in the zone and why he's moving forward. Why Skiff wants to enter the zone here and why he wants to research this stuff and why he's there placing the scanner down, and which seems to be really dangerous. They seem to spawn anomalies and they seem to attract a lot of danger. Which brings us to after the tunnel. You end up going through a little bit more looting spree. You end up going through another building. Find some loot, find some medkits, some vodka. Not much going on there. I think you end up finding another flesh, maybe another flesh on the field, mutant. Which again brings us to the final scene here. The final scanner scene, which is near the end of the tutorial. Again, the end of the tutorial. You put down the scanner. I'll showcase a little bit of the footage here. You end up putting down the at the end of the tutorial, near the military checkpoint, it seems. Another military checkpoint. You end up putting down the scanner. Military's like, oh, what the hell is that? They, you're like, okay, you put it down. You go back into a building reactively. Like, it makes sense for you to go back in a building, because this thing is dangerous. So the main character goes back in a building. What happens is the military is actually there. There's a military there that heard you use the scanner. So obviously this happens. It's a little bit of a cutscene, no QTEs, just a cutscene. There's a sniper. There's a sniper in a tower. I paid close attention in the demo that I wouldn't see this, and trust me, I played the demo. I knew this happened, the floating gunner. I watched this cutscene in the demo twice, and it wasn't there in the demo. This floating gunner was actually there in the demo. So, again, this is from 6 days ago. They know, they already improved. Or it was just a miscellaneous bug. I mean, it could have been funny if it was just a one-time bug. We know it's a S.T.A.L.K.E.R game after all. But yeah. A bit of a cutscene, pretty cool. The main character isn't the absolute killer hero. He's actually just spooked. This sniper in the tower shoots at the military. Main character throws a smoke grenade through the window, which is again a confirmation that we probably will have smoke grenades in S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2. I don't know if we knew this yet, but there are smoke grenades you can throw, and they will block enemy line of sight, presumably. You throw a smoke grenade in the cutscene. The smoke grenade obscures the sniper from being able to see you. The sniper are part of a different faction. The sniper faction is definitely different. We'll talk about it in a bit. You end up grabbing the scanner. You end up shooting it back out of the tower a bit. Suppressive fire. You end up running away. And once you run away with the device, it seems to be pretty heavy. You end up getting stopped by some other stalkers. I couldn't tell you exactly what faction they were. But they might have been Freedom or Loners or some other faction, maybe mercenaries even, that are sent to take care of you or that data. They seem to be interested in the research, perhaps. Or interested in killing the military, who knows. Which brings us to the end of the demo. And that's basically the end of the demo. There was a whole tutorial of the game of S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2. That will be the intro tutorial of S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2. And then you end up getting hit in the head with the butt of a gun. You pass out. And presumably you end up waking up somewhere near the scene with the dogs. Again, presumably you end up waking up after you get your head smashed in by the gun butt of a random faction member. You end up waking up somewhere in a zone and having to fight off dogs. Presumably, and Richter saving you. Which again brings us to the fact that I played through the demo twice. And yeah, let's just give my closing thoughts on how I felt about it. I beat this tutorial in about 16-17 minutes. And I was like, okay, I have this booth. I still have 30 minutes on my clock. There was a little timer on my desk. It said 30 minutes left. I'm like, okay, let's just do it again. There wasn't that much to get sidetracked by, but I ended up second time through. I ended up exploring a little bit more of the environment. You know, my second time through, I ended up exploring a little bit more in the environment. There's some gameplay in the background, but I don't think it's too serious. I didn't actually explore this military complex in my exploration. Presumably, they don't let you go here. This is a different location picked by the S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 developers to showcase here. It was a gunfight with military in that footage. But anyways, the second time through, I was really surprised. Again, my feelings on the game. I was really surprised how smooth. Like, the gameplay wheel here, it's pretty clunky. I think it's too big, but it's good for controller. I mean, again, it's something you pull up. It's something you don't use on PC. You have these things hotkey to 1 to 5, 1 to 6. You have Q, Z, R, C. You don't use this wheel on PC. You can just use your hotkeys. It's still nice to see, though, that what you have equipped. It's still a nice reminder to check what your equipment is without opening your entire inventory up. I like that. I like the quick reminder what is equipped and what's sold. It's a nice quality of life thing. My genuine thoughts, unscripted thoughts, is that it felt a lot more polished. It felt like a finished product. They have a game now. It is now a video game. Last year I was like, okay, this is really cool, but it seems a bit disconnected. It seems a bit weird. It seems a bit random. This felt like a game. This felt like a AAA title. It felt like a AAA video game, FPS shooter, yet still Stalker. I gotta say, I like the visuals at night were good. It wasn't too dark. It could be. Yeah, it was. Honestly, it was dark. Like, you couldn't tell that there were bandits or military fighting you. You had to get close enough with a headlamp. The whole gameplay takes place at night. I think it was good. I enjoyed walking around. The movement felt fluid. Most important, the movement felt fluid. The jumping, the vaulting, you're vaulting over objects with spacebar, the crouching. The first time through it felt a little bit clunky. Like, my controls, I was getting used to it. The first time through the entire tutorial, it took me 17 minutes. It felt a bit clunky, but then the second time through, it all clicked, and I was cruising through the environment. I was at the military fight within 4 minutes. I just held the sprint button down. I watched my stamina bar go down. I watched it fill up back again. I just sprinted. I jumped over everything. I vaulted over stuff. It felt so fluid. Traversing the environment felt really fluid. It felt really fast-paced. It is... Again, I wouldn't call it more fast-paced than Shadow of Chernobyl. The running speed in S.T.A.L.K.E.R, Shadow of Chernobyl, was extremely fast. You felt like Usain Bolt. I feel like the speed is more on par with Call of Pripyat. It felt like COP. It was more grounded, more slow-paced. And yet when you want to go fast, the game lets you go fast. It doesn't hold you back. It's not like a... It isn't like some insanely immersive military sim where you're carrying 10,000 kilograms of equipment. Which I prefer. I hope that they keep it classic like this. It was good. The movement felt good. I can tell you that my movement felt good. The shooting also, it felt very satisfying to full auto a... like, at some point during the second time through, I actually found an AKU at the start before I fought the Flash. So this time around, the second time through, I had an AKU. So I had a 30-round mag in it. I didn't have many rounds for it. I had a 30-round mag. I full autoed the entire magazine in the Flash. It just died. It just straight up dropped dead. But it felt very satisfying to just laser the 30-round magazine into the Flash. The recoil seems to be like my kind of enjoyment. Very, very snappy recoil. Like, it just kicks your gun up. You have to respond and keep your gun down. It feels good. It just feels like an immersive, like, realistic recoil. You have to be managing it yourself. I like that. I don't want to have any Tarkov recoil mechanics where your gun kicks up and you can do nothing about it. You have to predict your gun placement. Or CSGO recoil where you have to run a recoil pattern. It's just responsive. You just keep your gun centered on the target. That's it. Which is immersive. That's what you would do IRL. If your gun is kicking up, you just keep it centered. Just saying. Yeah, it was fun. And then I ended up exploring a little bit more of the environment. I went up looking around the houses, the random houses in the environment. There were some random environmental houses. There was more vodka inside. There were more medkits. There were more ammo stashes too there, but not that much. It felt like you found, like, in the tutorial, you know, I went around. I found, like, boxes of, like, 20 rounds. I found, like, 15 shots for the Makarov. And I found, like, another magazine for an AK. I was like, okay, that's cool. That helps me. You know, AK mag. The 45, the 545 AK rounds. Just picked them up. Filled up my AKU. I was like, okay, maybe with this I could fight the Bloodsucker. And I was like, okay. Well, I actually got past the Yantar bunker thing again, the scientist bunker. And I heard the Bloodsucker yell, and I actually thought there were two Bloodsuckers. It was like two... It sounded like the yelling was coming from two directions. And I'm like, okay, two Bloodsuckers, maybe I don't want to die here over and over. So again, I skipped the Bloodsucker fight. I just ran past it. Well, you can do that too, but that's Stalker, you know. Choice. Freedom of choice. Fighting or running. I like that. Unlike other games which would perhaps lock you in an arena fight, like let's say God of War, where you're locked in every fight you get, you're just locked in and you cannot jump out. You go past the bunker, and then we get to the exciting part. Again, I fought those 3 bandits, and I tried to really pay attention. I was there, I was swinging the second time through, I was really fighting those bandits. And trust me, I tried to pay close attention to what they were doing. It just felt, my genuine opinion is, it felt basic. But that's not to say, like, that when you're fighting 3 bandits in Call of Pripyat, that feels pretty basic too in COP. Like, it's just an open field with 3 rocks, and you're behind 1 rock, and there's like 3 rocks out in the field. And the bandits just end up sitting behind those rocks, and they end up just peeking you and shooting you from behind a rock. And then, you know, they move, when you flank them, they move to a different rock, or they move behind a rock. It's just S.T.A.L.K.E.R. It's just, they use cover to shoot you. They weren't very aggressive. They seem to sit behind cover, wait for a chance, and then auto, like, they're bandits. They would full auto you, they would burst fire, they would use some macros. They seem pretty defensive. They didn't seem to be like suicidal. They definitely seem to stick together and use the cover to flank you. Like, I had one guy on my right, one guy on the left. It was pretty difficult to manage that. I had to listen closely to their yells, their taunting. They were pretty vocal, so they would taunt you a lot. And the taunting actually helped me locate them and peek the right guy. Like, I had to peek the guy around the right side with the peeking. Playing it safe. The scary parts were the grenades. Like, the scariest part were the grenades. I heard some guy yell, Granata or something, and I instantly ran to another rock. I ran to another boulder while zigzagging to avoid fire. Avoiding the bullets was decent. Getting hit by bullets, of course. I took like a third of my health in damage every time. Damage seemed decent. I don't know what difficulty we're playing on. But the grenades would have probably 1 or 2 shot me, so I was mostly scared about the grenades. Again, which brings us to the UI element here, the radiation. Like, again, there was quite a lot of radiation in the demo. You were getting irradiated quite a lot. You had to use anti-rad pills. They were hotkeyed on E. So I could easily use anti-rad pills. I think here the character get hit by a grenade. He loses 70% of his HP. So it, you know, it's not a one shot, but you do need to really take care of grenades. If you get like grenaded and shot at, you will die fast. Again, this is about as my gameplay, as my gunfights went. Like, I didn't really go for full autoing people in the chest. I didn't really full auto people in the chest. Also, Pablo's here to say hi. Hey, hey Pablo. I did not full auto people in the chest. I mostly went for headshot while peeking and taking care of my health, and I played very defensive, just like the bandits were doing, honestly. It was a good bit of gameplay. Honestly, the second time around, I was having fun. I was playing there, and I was genuinely enjoying it and having fun. I was just enamored with the. It's just like, again, raw take here. It just feels like Call of Pripyat, but it feels like COP. Call of Pripyat. S.T.A.L.K.E.R. Call of Pripyat. With more polish. More gameplay. Fancy gun animations. More in-depth mechanics, and honestly the animations, oh. You know what I really loved? This is, guys, this is one thing I can tell you right now. This is one thing that they did better than all the modern mods. All the modern FTDA animation mods. All the fancy mods we have for normal mod. All those really good mods for animations. There's nothing that beats like opening up your inventory and fluidly pulling out your backpack. And then while you're in inventory, queuing up animation, like queuing up items, and popping several healing items in your inventory. And then when you close your inventory, you put your backpack away, but while putting away your backpack, your character pulls out a can of food. And he pulls out his knife, and he starts taking out chunks of little tushonka, and puts it in his mouth. Like, the fluidity of that, nothing will beat that. This is genuinely, like, it's gonna far outdo any kind of animation mod we have for S.T.A.L.K.E.R. It's too fluid. The flow is well. You can, again, drink vodka, pop several items, medkit, vodka, all those things. And then when you close your inventory, they will queue up and they will play. Like, it's so good. That will not get old. In the previous titles, in the mods we have, the mods we're playing right now, that really gets old. The animations, the animations get old. Having to open and close your inventory 5 times to pop like one item, that gets really old. I'm not a fan of that. Like, we're not getting too tedious, too animation-like, and we're not getting nothing. We're getting the middle ground. We're getting the fluid, fancy, flavorful animation that's there for purpose, but it doesn't impede on gameplay, and it doesn't just, you know, it doesn't magically fill up your food meter either. Yeah, my opinion on the guns, they seem to have they definitely have toned down on the smoke effect. A lot of people complain about the smoke on the guns. I didn't notice any smoke when I was full out of my AKU. I didn't notice any crazy smoke. Obviously they're listening to feedback. You guys are awesome. The fanbase is cool. I hope you guys, again, constructive criticism in the S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 Discord. At this point, I think it's a little bit late in this development cycle to actually give some more feedback on what they should change. But I think the vocal minority, the vocal majority, did voice their opinions on the smoke on the barrels, and they were like, okay, maybe, you know, the Stalker 2 developers realized, okay, maybe that's a bit much. So they toned it down. I don't know if it still happens. If you can still overheat your barrel. I think there is an overheating mechanic. But again, it doesn't seem to happen that fast here. There's a little, you saw a little bit of smoke. It looked cool. I still think we haven't experienced it or seen it in the game. I think you can overheat your barrels and it will cause a little bit more smoke than that. We'll see. Again, pretty cool. In flying out there, again, that's pretty cool. Some random gameplay is showed. You can also unload guns off the ground directly. I think it's a cool feature. I don't like having to pick up guns that are on the floor and having to right-click unload. I'm a fan. Quality of life, gameplay, immersion. It makes sense for you to just pull out the mag of the gun and, you know, pop some bullets out of it instead of having to pick up the whole gun. Nice. And again, the mutants look neat. The gunplay felt good. It's just Call-E It's just Call-E with depth. It was great, guys. I had so much fun there. I went to Gamescom. I had so much fun. I also, yeah. I probably missed some things. This was completely unscripted. I had a to-do list on what to check out. Weapon jamming is affected by weapon durability. You can pick up broken guns. They jam more often. I intended to use the fully functional guns. They were like 90% durability. So the game didn't jam my guns that much. Or I didn't see a single jam. But that's fair, that makes sense. I was using the good guns. If you have a question about what you thought about, please ask me in the comment section. I will try to answer it if I remember. Here in this video, I just showcase the important stuff, my actual thoughts. Overall, it was really fun. I had a really fun Wednesday for me yesterday. It was great. I went to Gamescom. I played a little bit of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 also. It was great. I got some goodies. S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 did not have any swag this time. Bit unfortunate, but I also went to a One Piece concert afterwards. It was great. It was like the climax of the evening. Like, I had an amazing Wednesday. I got home at 2 AM, and here we are the next morning. Yeah, making a video. It's going to be enjoyable. It's going to be on par with Call of Pripyat. If you like Call of Pripyat, you're gonna like S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2. Is that what? That's just a simple assumption. Should go off. I think that's just the most basic thing you should go off. Don't go off a mega hype. Don't get your mega high hopes up. Just think about Call of Pripyat. Think of this game. What you thought of it initially. Go play it again. Play the vanilla experience. You know, it has some weaknesses. It has some upsides. The immersion, the open nature, the choices you make, the open branching paths for different dialogues and quest lines. That's what S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 feels like. It's a more open experience. It's more, you could almost say, even relaxed. It feels like you are meant to really get immersed in this world and walk around and just do what you want to do. To be a stalker, to enter the zone and be a stalker. Even in a tutorial, they don't hold your hand. Like, I can't stress this enough. The tutorial, it teaches you what to do. It doesn't tell you where the artifact is. It doesn't tell you to knife the lock on the door. It doesn't tell you to shoot the lock on the door. I just had to figure out that I can shoot or knife the lock on the door. Surprisingly, even for a tutorial, it didn't hold your hand that much. There were no obvious prompts. One of the facts also is the fact that it just lets you do it. It shows an anomaly and it shows a path around the anomaly. You're just supposed to assume that you gotta take the path around the anomaly. It teaches you how to play the game, but it doesn't absolutely hold your hand. It doesn't absolutely do it. It is still a better tutorial than the original trilogy ever had. Definitely a lot better than Clear Sky. Holy shit, that game is something else. But yeah. Tell me how you feel about this game. Tell me, ask me a question about what I experienced. I will probably come up with some more, like, things I experienced during the demo. If you ask me exactly about, like, something specific, like the vodka animation, like, I experienced all these things. They're not popping up in my head, as I record this video. But I want to thank you guys for being here. I'm looking forward to S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2. Be there, I will play it. And, yeah, good hunting out there, S.T.A.L.K.E.R. Have a great rest of your hype for S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2. We'll probably get one more trailer before S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 is out. See you at the release of the game. I think this was one of the final points we will have this type of conversation about S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2. I think it's ready to be released. I think they're just gonna do some bug fixes and fix the game further. Performance increases, bug fixes, playtesting, they're making the game good. I feel like it is already in a state where it would be shippable, but they obviously want to make it perfect. So let's give them some time to make it perfect. Even if we might get some further further delay announcements. If it is slightly delayed, you know, let them cook. Yes, great hunting out there, Stalker. I will see you all in another video sometime.